Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm Jay Malone, and today I'm going to show you how to create something like this, or even this, by using Photoshop. Okay guys, we're going to jump in here today and show you how to create this fun little effect that you can use with photos and text to create some kind of art by using Photoshop. Before we start, I'm using Adobe Photoshop CC, which stands for Creative Cloud 2017. The effects that I'm using in this, I know they work for some older versions of Photoshop. I'm not sure how many different versions of Photoshop, but this is what I'm using now. If you do not have Adobe Photoshop, I recommend you going to Adobe's website. I believe you can try it for free. It costs $9.99 a month if you want a subscription to Photoshop. By getting a subscription to Photoshop, that gets you all of the new updates. You can stay up to date on their latest software, and I highly recommend that. I have the bundle, which includes everything Adobe makes pretty much. It's $50 a month. That allows me to do video editing, audio editing, everything that I do. I needed the whole bundle. But if you're only interested in photography, I believe the bundle includes Adobe Lightroom and Adobe Photoshop for $9.99 a month. And really, that's not too bad to have what I think is the greatest photo editing software available. All right, let's jump in here, guys, and let me show you what to do. The first thing we're going to do is to create a blank canvas in Photoshop. You can do that by going up to File, New. I'm going to choose a video thumbnail size simply because it looks best full screen here on this video for you. But you can play around with the settings here. You can change the settings, change it from pixels to inches if you want, and you can work with that. But I'm going to do something pretty simple here. I have a video thumbnail custom size set up, so I'm going to do that size. You can double click on it, click OK. It opens up into Photoshop, and here is your blank canvas, and you're ready to start creating. Okay, there's no right and wrong way to do this, but I'm going to find a photo first that I want to use with this text. You could certainly type your text first, so don't think that there is a exact order that you have to do this in. As you'll see with Photoshop, it's based on layers, so we're going to be moving around layers to achieve the look that we want. So first off, let me find a photograph that I want to use. I open up my Finder window, and I have a folder here of skies. If you follow my photography, I love skies. So yeah, I'm simply going through my pictures here and going to find one that I want to use. And I think I found one. I have this folder set up because I've taken several different pictures, and anytime that there's a sky in it that I think is cool looking sky, I try to put it into this folder. So yeah, I'm going to use this file, and basically once I have Finder open, I am on a MacBook. On a Windows, it's pretty much File Explorer. You can do the same thing. You can just click on this file and drag it into your Photoshop window, let go, and it places your photo there. Now, I'm going to cancel this, and I'll show you another way to do it. You can go to File, and then you can go to Place Embedded. We're going to find that same folder of skies. We'll find the same image there, and then click on Place, and you have your image there as well. So as you can see, I've said it before in one of the videos, there's 100 different ways to do the same task in Photoshop. And so now we have our picture placed there. And to commit this picture, you have to kind of put the check mark. I believe you can hit the return key. But now we have this picture placed in the middle of our canvas. It's not quite as wide as our canvas, so I'm going to adjust this picture size. The way that I do it, I hit Command, or I believe it's Control on a Windows, Command T, and it brings up your transform tool. And as you can see, it puts this box around it again. And if you start dragging, keep this in mind, if you start dragging, you can stretch this picture out of proportion, and that is not something that you want to do. So I'll show you a different way. We're going to undo that, Command T again. Hold down Shift. And if you hold down Shift while you click, you can see, don't matter which way I move it, it retains the correct proportion of this photo, so you don't stretch something some way that you don't need to. So yeah, that's one thing that bugs me, when photos are stretched out of proportion and they look awful. So once you have that, the size that you want, you let go of Shift, you can move this photo around. We're going to kind of leave it right there for right now. I'm going to hit the return key. It's the same as hitting the check mark, and it's going to commit those changes. Now, what I want to do right now is I want to duplicate this layer. You can do that a couple different methods. You can right click or secondary click on the image and click duplicate layer, tell it OK, and you have a duplicate layer. As you can see down in your layers panel down here, now you have 2 layers. So we're going to undo that, and I'll show you another way that you can do it. Shortcuts are your friend when it comes to Photoshop. So I hit Command J, and boom, I already have a layer there. And it's already duplicated in the same place that my other image is. If you can't really tell it, but there's 2 different layers stacked one on top of each other here in this Photoshop window. Now it's time to move on to our text. So we're going to come up with a phrase, a word that we want to use. For this instance, I think I'm going to use Arkansas. So we go over here to our tools palette on the left-hand side, and as you can see, you can choose different things, your move tool. I'm going to choose the T for text tool. And you'll notice in our layers palette, I am on the top layer. Right now, if I click on the image while I have the text tool, it is going to put a text layer on top of that other image. And you can see it there. I'll show you something else. We're going to quit that. We're going to move down to the second, or will be the first layer that we have. As you can see now, I have the middle layer, since we have our background, which is the plain white canvas. Then we have the photo, then we have the copy or the duplicate layer of it. If I click on this layer, and then I have my text tool, and I click, you'll see it creates a layer in between the 2 of your text. So now I'm going to type out the word Arkansas, and you don't see anything. I'm going to hit the little check mark to commit that. If I turn off the top layer, you can see the word is actually there. It's not large enough, but it's there now. So we're going to keep the top layer turned off for right now. And I'm going to take this word Arkansas. You can change the font size by going up here to the font size, increasing the font size. As you can see there, we changed it to 35 points. We can keep increasing that, or you can use your transform tool, that Control T, and that's the way that I normally do it. Hit Control T, transform, and then I do the same thing. I shift and click, and I drag this out to the size that I want to drag it out to. And we're going to just make it as large as we can on this canvas here. And then we will move this around, and I'm going to position the words kind of right here on the horizon line, because I know the look that I'm going for. Once you get it positioned kind of where you want it, hit the little check mark and commit the changes, or you could have hit return. Now we have a word Arkansas that's kind of popping up here in this shadow, which I think actually looks kind of cool as it is. That's a whole different effect that you could go with, but we're going to do something a little bit different with it. Okay, up to this point, I've had the top layer turned off. Now I'm going to change it, and I'm going to turn the bottom photo layer off. Now we have our plain white canvas with the word Arkansas there, and I'm going to turn the top photo layer on. Now here's where the trick, and here's where all the magic happens. This is called a clipping mask. We are creating a clipping mask to the actual text, to the words that we created. So now you want to click on the top photo layer and hold down Alt, and you'll see that it changes. Here, I let off of it. We had just a little finger. When I press Alt, it changes to this little box and an arrow, and that is creating a clipping mask. So you can see if I move around, it changes back. But if you get right between those 2 layers while holding down Alt, and then you click your mouse. Get ready for the magic. Here it comes. Boom. As soon as we click it, we can let off, and we have a photo that is clipped to our text, which I think is really cool. As cool as this looks, I want to move the photo around to make it where it looks the best in the text. And here's how we're going to do that. We're going to move 2 layers at a time though, just so I can create the effects that I showed you earlier. We're going to select the top photo layer and the bottom photo layer at the same time. You can do that by holding down the Command key or the Control key on Windows and clicking that layer. So now both layers are selected. Let's just say the word text was selected. You can click on one layer, hit Control, click on the other, and now you have both of those layers selected. We're going to use our shortcut again, Command T, to transform and to move these layers. So now we have both layers selected. That way when we move them, we're moving both layers at the same time. So I want to shift this to the left over here because I want that water tower right in that letter N. And I think that looks pretty cool. I may lower it down just a little bit so we see more of the sky. But yeah, I like that water tower showing up right there on the edge of that N. And that's pretty much where I'd want it. So I'm going to hit the return key. And there we have the picture placed where I want it in the text. But we're going to add some different effects to the text. So now we need to select our text layer. Move your mouse to the layer, click on it, and you have the text layer selected. Right or secondary click on it, and you can see blending options. We're going to use blending options here to give us the effect that we want. Move this window out of the way just a little bit so we can see. And here you have several different things that you can use. We are going to concentrate on 2 things today for the effect that I want. First off, we are going to add a stroke. As you can see, it automatically put a color in here, a color that maybe I used last time. We're going to change this color to black. Now that we have our color changed, you can adjust the size of the stroke. While you're adjusting the size, you can look at your image and see how it's affecting it. So I'm going to adjust the size down here to about 5 pixels, and I'm going to leave this on the inside. If you watch over here on the text, when I change this to outside, it simply moves the stroke to the outside of the text. We're going to use inside for this. Click on OK, and you're done there. Now you can see we have just a little black outline around the letters, but we're not finished yet. What I want to do is go down here to our background layer, click on our background layer. Now we're going to create a new color layer or a color fill layer by clicking on this little icon down here. This is to create an adjustment layer, and we'll click a solid color. And we're going to choose a black solid color. Click on OK, and there we have a solid black background with the word Arkansas in it with a cool sunset and water tower photo. And yeah, I actually think that is another really cool looking effect right there. But let's move on. Let's create an outer glow. So we can go back to our text layer, right click again, go into blending options. And from blending options, we're going to find outer glow. Click on outer glow. And as you can see, it automatically selected a setting for me because it's the setting that I used before when I was playing around with this effect. But I'm going to show you how to make sure that you get this same effect. Once you have outer glow selected, here's where you can change your color. And you want to make sure, and you click on that and go to a solid white. You know you're at solid white when you look over here and the numbers are 255, 255, 255. That lets you know that you're solid white. If you move your color picker around, you can see those numbers change. So we move it to the left corner and we have our solid white. We want to change the blend mode to normal. A lot of times it is on screen, and I just like for it to be on normal for this effect right here. And you can change the spread and change the size of this. And it's just to your taste, whatever desired effect that you want. I'm going to lower this down to where we have just a little bit of a glow around it there. And I think that looks pretty good, so click OK. And now you have the outer glow with the black stroke with the letters on the solid black background. And I think that's a pretty cool look. But now we're going to do something else. Now that you have your photo clipped to your text, you can actually turn on your other photo layer if you would like. You find your lower photo layer, turn it on, and you can see now, since we moved those two photo layers together earlier, they are lined up, so the image looks pretty cool like that. Have the word Arkansas that where you can see the photo through it. And there is a really easy way to achieve this look that I can show you. But my favorite look is with the bottom photo layer turned off, where you just have the word Arkansas. If you wanted to add some text underneath it, go all the way to the top of our layers. As you can see, scroll up to the top. And now I'm going to choose the text tool and click in an open spot in our canvas and type whatever you want to. Commit that, and as you can see, I typed with black text on a black canvas so it doesn't show up. So we go up here to the top to change our color, and I'm going to change this to white, and there we have it. You can play around with the font of this. Let's choose something a little bit different. Here we go. I think that looks pretty cool. And we're going to choose our move tool, and we can move this around. If you have your guides on, it'll kind of pop up and show you when it's centered. So now you have the word Arkansas with the natural state below it, and I think this is a very cool look. If you're designing something, there's many different ways that you can use this, but I just think this is very cool if you want to create something that just has a different look besides just plain text. So if this is the look that you're going for, then this is the way that you need to do it. You need to have a photo layer on top of your text and then create a clipping mask so it clips that layer just to your text. And what is really cool about this is once you have it clipped to the text, you can change that text to anything that you want to. We'll go find our text layer in our layers palette. We click on the text layer, which just says Arkansas. Click on our text tool over to the left, and we go in here and we want to highlight all of our text. And let's just change this. I'm going to change this to Corning, the city I live in. As you can see right then, it automatically changed the text and you still see the photo behind it. It's not lined up, but you can go back and line it up the way that you wanted to. But it's so easy to change the text now with the photo still showing up behind or through the text. Let's undo that because, of course, the Arkansas natural state looks better there. Now, the other look that I showed you, I told you there was a really simple way to achieve it, and I'm going to show you that right now. For this, we're going to delete our top photo layer, and you can either click on it and hit the delete key, or you can drag it down here to the trash can, or even just click on the trash can. It's going to ask you if you want to delete the layer, tell it yes, and deleting it is pretty simple. Now, turn on the bottom photo layer. We find it in our layers palette. There we have it. Now we have the words, but it's black. You can't see through it. So to do that, you want to adjust the feel. We go to the top of our layers palette and you'll see two different options, opacity and feel. If you take the opacity and you click on the word and just drag it, it is going to lower the opacity of the layer. As you can see, it's taking it completely off, and that's not the look that we want. We want to maintain our glow. So take the opacity all the way back up, and we're going to adjust the feel, which is the color black is what it is filled with. So if you take the feel, you can take it all the way down, or you can adjust it however you want, but if you take it all the way down, there you have it. You basically have a clear text with your effects, your blending options, which is your stroke and your outer glow, still applied to it. So there, as you can see, is a very easy way to create this look. Once you have the desired look that you want, now you're ready to flatten the image, save it as a JPEG, and print it or post it online, whatever you want to do with it. To flatten it, there's several ways you can do it, but you can always go up to Layer and all the way down to Flatten, click on it. Now you have a flattened image, File, and Save As. Save it as whatever you want to, and you're finished with it. And that's pretty much it, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. Wanted to try to explain how to achieve this look. Maybe you can use this in any type of design project that you want to use it in. You can use it with photos, with portraits, and place it to where you can see part of the kid in the words, if you want his name there or his or her name. It's a very cool effect that you can use in several different ways. Hopefully it was some help. If it helped you and taught you something, please hit that thumbs up. I would sure appreciate it. Leave me a comment in the comment section below. Give me an idea of a way that you could use this, or give me an idea of something else that you'd like to see done in Photoshop. If you enjoyed the video and you want to see more videos, click on the subscribe button. When you click on subscribe, if you'll click the little bell icon, you'll be notified when I post a new video. It'll send you a push notification or an email, let you know as soon as I post the video. Thanks for watching, thanks for commenting, and thanks for liking. And until next time, God bless.